Afternoon, Cherries fans, and welcome to this latest show here on Up the Cherries in All Departments. There's been lots of transfer rumours spreading around on the internet, through the press, and tonight we are going to cover that for you. Before I do that, here's a little bit about our sponsors, Dental on the Banks. To find out what they can do for you, visit dentalonthebanks.co.uk. Now, to discuss the transfer rumours from all the way from our defenders all the way up to the attacking options, it is a pleasure to welcome onto the show, live from Brittany in France, Al Gard. Afternoon, Al. How are you?
I'm all right, Craig. Thank you very much. Enjoying what was left of the sunshine. It was red hot. Now it's a little bit cooler. But yeah, enjoying sunny Brittany.
It was absolutely beautiful on Friday, but yeah, the weather's changed for the worst here as well. So hopefully we get some nice sun over the rest of the summer that we've got, and before we get back into the football season.
It's seven weeks away. That's all it is. That's all we've got to wait.
Yep. Definitely, and I'm looking forward to it being back in the Premier League, and of course that home game against Aston Villa to start us off, and then a trip to Man City, which, let's be fair, is never going to be an easy task, is it?
Well, no, but 4 points from the opening two games is a good start.
Yep.
Yeah,
most definitely.
When we first entered the Premier League, it was Villa the first game, and we was all up for it, and we was all wanting. And then we got a little bit of a harsh reality, didn't we? Because we had the beating of Villa that day. And they nicked their goal, so there was the 3 points gone. And then we went to Liverpool, didn't we? The second game. I mean, what a tough start.
Did, yeah.
You think that was a tough start? So is this. And funny enough, we've got the same 4 opening games, but in a different order than Crystal Palace. Exactly the same.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can do what we did the last time round, which it was a great season. We didn't look in any trouble. We did drop into the relegation zone in November, didn't we? But apart from that, we was okay.
Yeah, indeed. There was 1 or 2 worries throughout the season, as there was all 5 seasons, apart from when we finished 9th. But the whole thing about the Premier League for me is we competed, we gave it a real good hack, and we will do next season. We've got the players with Premier League experience, which we didn't really have last time.
Yeah.
This time, yes, okay, we have those players with experience. Yes, we did go down with them, but they're older and wiser. And I think, don't worry, lads. Don't worry, girls, lads, whoever. We'll be okay next year.
I'm confident as well. So, fingers crossed. But I'm confident that we'll finish above that red line. And, let's be fair, if we finish 17th, we're safe. We've done it.
Exactly. Throughout the season, you look for 3 teams worse. When you go up, that's standard for any team that comes up for the Championship. Where's the 3 teams worse than us? And there are. Mark my words. There's probably 4 or 5. Brentford's second season syndrome, maybe, but we'll see. I think, we'll be all right. But anyway, let's get on with it, because I think with 1 or 2 additions, we're going to be on the ball.
Yep, most definitely. Firstly, let's do bring up the shirt though that you're wearing, which is a vintage shirt. Do tell us a little bit more about that.
I got this for my 50th birthday, so that's 11 years ago. A good friend bought it for me, and it was a great surprise. I didn't know you could pick up the shirts, but Retro Shirt Company. Yeah, so it's a 60-61 season, and it really is that old. And if you look on the back, I've got Steve Cook. No, I haven't. But actually, it was the year I was born, so I never saw us play in this strip. Please don't bring it back. It's thick and it's heavy, and it's rather warm in this climate. So the thinner shirts are better. Keep the red and black stripes as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Firstly, Al, what I want to discuss is, of course, the current squad. You know, got us out of the championship, finished second. Towards the end of the season, we had the best record in that top six against teams around us. So we got the 6 points off Nottingham Forest. We got 6 points off Huddersfield. Got 3 off Luton, 2 off Fulham. And of course, the 4 points off Sheffield United. So, is there much that we need to strengthen, and what positions do we need to do?
I think across the board, there's a position needed in every ball in the squad, from goalkeeper right through to attack. And I think we are going to offload, is the word, for 2 or 3 players who I don't think are quite up to it in the Premier League. If we want to go into names, well, then we'll do that a little bit later. Do you know what? It was fantastic the way we dealt with the teams at the top. It's the teams at the bottom in the division last year that we struggled against, and I don't really get that. I mean, we should have. Derby were on the balls of their feet, weren't they? And they just turned us over. It's extraordinary. Next season, the teams at the bottom half, we've got to get them points off.
Yeah.
So, but yes, our performance against the top teams might not happen next year because Liverpool, Man City, etc. It's difficult to explain. I think we've got to be a bit more solid against those teams mid-table, bottom of the table, before we can advance and get it off their bottom 3 places. And we will. I said that.
Yeah, most definitely. So, in particular, what sort of positions? Because the way I've seen it is, I think we need a backup goalkeeper. Because just in case anything happens to Travers, personally, I think he's earned his place to actually start against Aston Villa. And I think he will make that jump up. I think one of the key areas for me is right back. I don't think Jack Stacey is really fancied by Scott Parker, unfortunately. I think Stacey is a good player. I think he did make a couple of mistakes last season, and I think that's where that worry comes from. Adam Smith's done a good job, but what happens if he gets injured? I don't think there's that much. I don't think there's that much strength in depth there. Of course, the centre-back position we need to do something about, because we've got Metham, we've got Kelly, but we haven't got much else in there. And that's why selling Steve Cook, I didn't really understand that move, considering he had that experience. I think can only guess it was because of how much he was on. And the other big position for me is left midfield. And the reason mainly for me is because just in case Jayden Anthony can't make that step up into the Premier League straight away, I think he will do eventually, but he's the young player that gives me the most concern of making that step up, and having somebody there who can fill in and who he can learn from would be ideal. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Craig, should we work from the back and go forward? What we need to improve the squad. And we'll start with the rumours with the keeper. And in the papers, and it's even been in France, Jack Butland. 10 Premier League appearances in 2 seasons for Palace. Been mentioned coming to us. Now, ex-England goalkeeper 5 or 6 years ago to be number 2 at Palace. Bournemouth do need a second keeper. Travers, yes, you're right, has earned his corn, and he will start. And he must do. He's been absolutely fantastic. But our number 2 at the moment is Dennis, totally untried. We don't know what he can and can't do. So yes, but the only thing is we can only purchase probably a second keeper from another team. We can't, unless we drop down a couple of divisions and try another one totally untried.
Yeah.
But Butland, now does he fit the bill? For me, no, he doesn't. I think he's dropped so far down the pecking order for England. I think he's about 6th reserve now. And he hasn't had a lot of Premier League football in the last 2 years. So 6'5", big presence in goal, a bit like Begovic was, but we know Begovic had a huge season for us. But I don't think Butland's the answer. So I'm going to put one right into the mix that you've never heard of.
Go on.
It's in the paper this morning, and he's Benfica's number 2. Now we're off to Portugal. Now I'm not spreading rumours. We're only going there for a bit of sun and a bit of get the players all up to speed. But there's the Benfica second keeper is a guy called Miles Silva, or Millie Silva. He's out of contract and looking for a move away from Benfica. A 6'2" guy, and he is the Serbian number 2 goalkeeper. I've seen I've had a little glance on the TV of a few videos of him, and he looks more than capable. But then a huge step up from playing for Benfica reserves to suddenly be called up to be facing Haaland and all the others from Man City. Should it happen? Oh, God help us. And I've had a look around, see what's available. And at the moment, I would prefer him to Butland, but he's not going to be on Bournemouth's radar, I don't think, unless they're watching this and they're going to see him in Portugal.
I've got to agree with you on Jack Butland. Of course, he was at Stoke. I don't think he's really done much. He's not had much Premier League time recently, and I think there's a reason why he's going to be leaving Palace. So I think it would make perfect sense to get in a keeper who is happy to play second fiddle. Now, one of the other goalkeepers that was mentioned was Drągowski from Fiorentina.
Yeah.
Now, he's got a year remaining. He's currently looking like he's number 2 at Fiorentina. But will he come to Bournemouth to actually be number 2? Fiorentina are a big side in Italy. What's your thoughts on that?
Craig, I think somewhere along the line, his name was mentioned a year or 2 ago. Via Artur Boruc. Something was brought up. He was the natural replacement in Poland's squad. Do you know what? I really should have Googled and checked him out. Yeah, he's been mentioned. Why not? If he's got the recommendation of Artur Boruc, then I'm happy with that.
It would be, I think it would be a decent signing, but the question mark is, would he be happy coming here to play second fiddle to Travers? If Travers plays like he has been, and I think that's where the difficulty comes in this goalkeeping position, is who's going to be happy to do that, but also be able to step in. The other keepers, of course, we could look at is, of course, Freddie Woodman from Newcastle, was, of course, on loan here last season. He's been linked with Preston.
Right.
Personally, I don't think he would be the answer, but Alex McCarthy at Southampton might be. He has been injured quite a lot of last season, though. What do you think of those two?
Freddie Woodman, right. He scared the life out of me when we played Bournemouth. Do you remember the slice kick from the start? It wasn't his fault. We lost to Bournemouth, but and we didn't see anything of him really after that. Swansea rating because he had a fantastic season there. I don't know. A goalkeeping number 2 position, it's got to be someone who's got to be satisfied with sat on the bench until there's a broken wrist or an injury or a concussion. It's a damn hard job, and you've got to step into the breach straight away. Right, there's the Scottish keeper at Hearts. He's 39 years old. Craig Gordon.
Yep.
Okay, they didn't show against you, Craig. But I'll tell you what, in the Scottish football, they still rave about him at 39 years of age. And a number 2, why not?
Yeah, he could do a job for a season. I think McCarthy would be quite a decent signing. He's got a lot of Premier League experience. I think he would be happy to play second fiddle. He's had quite a lot of injuries. He's effectively done that for Southampton for some time now. And it looks like he's not going to be retained by Saints.
Okay. Well, that seems a nice, comfortable option because obviously he'll live in the region. And why not? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Craig. I obviously haven't seen a lot in play a lot. Yeah, it could be the answer. I think rather than chucking money on spending X amount on bringing a keeper in, someone who's on release, who's got a bit of experience, I think is essential.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, so, it's definitely an option. But the goalkeeper you mentioned from Benfica does sound like a good option now.
Yeah. When we go out on these training camps, and we've always had trialists in, maybe they're looking at him. I don't know. It's just me saying that. Please, people, don't think, oh, put that name on the list. It's just, he's available. Maybe he want to come and be number 2 here in the Premier League. And he's 22 years old. He's keen as anything. Why not?
And always, we seem to be a club which do buy young players and then gradually build them up and then sell them on for a profit. So that would make sense. So it's either, do we go for an older head, somebody like Craig Gordon, like McCarthy, or do we go for somebody young, fresh, who's hungry? And, I think that would be a great idea.
Craig, in the ideal world, Travis is going to play 38 games next season. He's going to be as good as last season. He'll get us points here, there, and everywhere when the chips are down. But no, it won't happen, will it? We will need that number 2 to play in the League Cup at Wigan or wherever we go. So, you're right. Svilar, fine. Gordon, fine. Well, let's get someone in. And Dennis has to go out on loan, hopefully to League One, or I think Championship might be pushing it. But League One, get that year. And when we survive, Dennis is our number 2 next season, the season after.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense for me. I think Travers will be phenomenal in the Premier League. He did actually have a game some years back against Spurs, didn't he? We won that game, and he was brilliant. And then, of course, Ramsdale come in the following season, and we thought, crikey, why did
we're overladen? We're overladen with goalkeepers, and fantastic. And it's fair play to the coaching staff. We've got some real quality in goal. That Travers game. I mean, there was 3 or 4 worldies in the first 20 minutes, wasn't there? Would have been dead and buried. And then Spurs decided to self-destruct and get everyone sent off. And Aki nicked a goal in the last minute. And what a day. What a day. Yeah.
Oh, it was an amazing game. And, I think if Travers can do what he did in that match, for 38 games, I should say, then it'll be,
he's more than capable. And when it comes to the end of the season, you see those shots off the charts, Travers will be in the top 3.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Well, we're going to have more shots against us than most other teams, so I would have thought so.
Well, in front of any new goalkeeper, and of course, Mark, we do need a defence. And of course, the defence, especially the centre-back position, is a little bit of a question mark for me. But let's go to the right-back firstly. Of course, Adam Smith is playing there at the moment. We've mentioned Jack Stacey as well, that I don't think Scott Parker really rates him. I can only imagine that he may be one of the players outgoing, probably to somebody like Luton. But we had Ethan Laird on loan last season. Didn't really see much of him, but he is highly rated by Man United fans. What was your feelings on him?
I think when Laird came in, he did what he had to do without being exceptional. Our right back problems. Smithy's going to get injured at some stage. Smithy's got the experience in the Premier League, and he won't let you down. He'll bust the gut, as you know. And he'll also get sent off from the subs bench, which is another, a remarkable thing to do. Jack's right. When we started this, and I said there was 1 or 2 players out, I don't think Jack Stacey is for us next season. Probably not even a squad player. So I think he might depart. I've looked around. What's available at right back? we need a right back. But I've looked across the internet who's available. There's no one that takes the eye. Smithy's got to stay fit, and that would be my main man next season to start.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with that. The other player, of course, we've been linked with is Ryan Fredericks.
Yeah, that's very highly promoted. The thing with Ryan Fredericks, he never seems to have commanded a fee. He always seems to have seen his contract out from place to place to place, and then, oh, well, right, we don't need to, and off you go. But Parker knows him.
Yeah.
So, trust the manager. Bring him in. Yeah, let's see what he can do. No complaints. No complaints with that. But it's a tough position, right back. And there aren't many great right backs out there that we can put our pounds into and buy. So, yeah, Frederick Smith. So we've got two players that can cover that position just about admirably.
And I think if I was to be a betting man, I think Parker will go for Fredericks, considering he's played with him before in the same squad. And I think that would make sense. I believe he was all at Fulham at the time when Parker was. And, I think that would make some sort of sense to why he's been linked with the club. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him come in.
Yeah, 29 years old, bit of experience in the Premier League. Look, experience will get you through. It's no good shoving in some raw person what we picked up from League One or Championship. All right, give him a go. I don't know enough about Fredericks, to be quite honest. Yeah. My West Ham friend said good riddance when he was gone. but then we banter. That's fan banter for you, and he'll be jealous when he smashes in a free kick when we beat West Ham.
I hope so. But let's look at this centre-back position, because at the moment we've got Lloyd Kelly there, we've got Metham there, but we are short on numbers, and I think that is probably the most critical position for me, because, of course, Nat Phillips was on loan last season. We'll go through him, but there has been another player that has been mentioned. But Nat Phillips, Liverpool have told us that they want 15 million for him. Is that too steep?
Look, Liverpool got 19 for Dom, and Dom has come good. They got 6 million for Brad Smith, and with that money, they bought Mo Salah. I mean, they don't know how to do it, them Scousers, do they? They haven't got a clue.
No. How much did we buy Hype for as well?
Oh yeah, whatever. But they replaced that trio with Salah, and they did all right out of that. Look, 15 million, I think, is a little greedy, but it's not for us to negotiate. Yes, we're back in the Premier League. We can chuck money at this, that, and the other, but I don't want us to. Not like last 5 years. If we, as a ballpark, we got 120 million, 130 million each season. That's the best part of 600, 700 million that's gone through the club's coffers. But most of that's gone on wages and nice cars. So we'd like something a little bit more sustainable and for the future of the club. So we can all see, yes, we can make the Premier League. Right, Nat Phillips. Look, 7 or 8 million was the first quote. And then suddenly Paper Talk says 15 million. If we get it at the lower part of the deal, and he was great for us. Our defence only conceded, was it 39 goals last season? And he played that last part, saw us through just 1 defeat in the last 12 or 14 games. He's solid. He's got a bit of Premier League experience. He plays brilliantly alongside Kelly, that they match. They gel quite well. And when Kelly was having a little wobbly spell, and he was mid-season, Phillips came in, and the two of them, fine. Metham, I want to keep Metham. It gets a lot of stick because people do highlight the errors, and there are errors. But listen, he never seems to make an error for Wales. They're going to the World Cup in 6 months. He's faultless. He's first or second name on the sheet after Gareth Bale. There's another talk in a minute, Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
Metz, he would be our number one change. Right. So we've got to look what's out there, defender-wise. And for me, right, we've gone right back. Well, I'll go to left or centre-back, and that would be Ben Mee from Burnley. Bags of experience. He's now leaving Burnley. And there are a number of Premiership clubs interested. I would imagine, like everything you read in the paper, it would be us, Fulham, Notts Forest, any team that's gone up, which is the way of the world. But Ben Mee would be ideal. They're 6'2", they're left back or centre back, very interchangeable. And he would fit in with Kelly and Phillips. So we've got three of the back. We've got three of the back four. Another name we've been linked with was the Japanese guy at Man City, Ikatura. That's what that's been mentioned. 0 Premier League experience, but once again, Fulham, Celtic are interested in taking him. But I've read in the paper this morning that he's just spent a season on loan at Schalke in Germany. Now Borussia Mönchengladbach want him, so maybe he's not on the radar anymore.
I think with Nat Phillips, I think 15 million is too steep at the moment because as a newly promoted side, there has been a hint of him coming back on loan again for the season. And personally, I think that would be a good option. But as long as there is an option to buy him, should we stay up next season?
Yeah, do you know, every time we deal with Liverpool, there's clauses, isn't there? I mean, Klopp wanted to buy Brad Smith back. Should it all go wrong? And off he went to Jordan Ive. He had the option to buy.
Yeah.
Look, if he has a fantastic season on loan with us next season, suddenly the greedy Liverpool 15 million might be 20, 25 million. And of course, there'd be a loan fee. I mean, we paid, I think, at best part of a million for half a season. Or it was less than that, wasn't it? It was post January, so it was 20 games or so. Look, if we get that deal done, get it done. Come on, Kloppy. Come on, you're probably watching Kloppy. Come on, come on. You like the French? Well, your supporters don't after what happened in Paris, but come on. Yeah, do us a deal. Do us a deal, and and if should you want Dom back after he gets 25 goals next season, we'll cut your deal then.
I agree with that completely. And to be fair, they've had enough money off us. I mean, can't be greedy.
But my first game, hopefully, would be Liverpool away, Craig. And I'll go there and I'll turn up in my Bournemouth shirt, and they said, "Oh, you paid for my house." Bournemouth have given more money to Liverpool than Bob Geldof has given to the Africans. So, and it's true. You look at this. But... Well, it's not a case of Liverpool being our feeder club, but we've done okay with a couple, we've done bad with a couple. But Nat Phillips, number one on the list. Let's get the pen there, sign. Nat said, sign.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with getting Ben Mee in. I think Ben Mee would be fantastic, and there is that option that if something happens to Zamora, he can go into that left back position. Also, he can play in that centre of midfield if needed, if we have some injuries or suspensions there. Of course, Leif Davis was here last season at left back. I think that's probably not going to happen. Leif won't be back.
No, I don't think so. Not quite. I don't know what the feeling is at Leeds. He's not going to make the Leeds team, so it's going to be another season on loan to the Championship for that lad. But Ben Mee, please. I mean, that just makes so much sense. He is just one of those players who, like Cookie. Get him going, get him motivated. And why he's leaving Burnley? All right, okay, perhaps he's too good for Championship football. Whatever wage he's on, because he was club captain there, wasn't he, last season? Yeah. I'd love it. I'd love to see him here. Season, come on a 2-year contract. Great player.
Before we move on from the centre back position, Gary Cahill, of course, was here. He's been released. Would you have given him another year?
When we went up first time, we had Distin, didn't we, for a year?
Yeah.
You do need that experience. What happened with Cahill? Yeah, he took the knock and then he never came back, did he? And it was all very, very quiet. But he's one of those players that if he's part and around the squad, his experience and his motivation is essential to the younger guys. And I thoroughly believe that Cahill brought on players like Zamora and Kelly and brought them onto to the level that they've attained. Another year, I don't know. Are other clubs looking to snap up Cahill now he's been released? I haven't seen anything yet.
No.
But, for someone who can stick around, probably not as a squad player, but someone behind the scenes as a coach, he's ready to go with that.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I would have kept him on. I think it was after that Mill game that it just disappeared from the fold, didn't he, completely? And it's such a shame because before that, he was brilliant. He's stopping everything. Personally, I wouldn't have got rid of Cookie. And I don't see where the logic was for that, especially after that Fulham game where he just threw himself in front of the ball.
Hey, mate, that was just amazing, wasn't it? Yeah, lie down and head it away. I mean, extraordinary. The Cookie thing, right? Okay, he was probably on the best wage still, and I think we'd had a bit of a wobble that time of the season, and people were doubting whether we would, either automatically go up and make the playoffs. And I think we bottled it and said, right, Cookie, you're gonna go probably just in case we don't go up. I don't know. I mean, you'd love him here for next season, wouldn't you? It's the war horse. It's the war horse we want. And when this testimonial was announced, hopefully it's a damn good one. Don't Bournemouth play Notts Forest, their testimonial. Get Cookie what he deserves. Club legend, that's it.
Yeah, most definitely. Now the next player that I'm going to mention, Marcus Tavernier at Middlesbrough. I've seen a figure of 10 million mentioned. Now, personally, from what I've seen of him and from what the Middlesbrough fans have said, I don't fancy it, to be honest.
Right. My good friend Gaz, who's in Portsmouth at the moment, but he's a Middlesbrough fanatic, although not that fanatical, he moved to Manchester. If you take Tavernier at 10 million, he says, we'll bite your hand off. Yep. He's a great player periodically. He's not a 90-minute player. He's not a championship, 46 game a season player. But those moments that he can do the biz. Dan Juma. Right, I'm not going to compare him with Dan Juma. But, when we first had Dan Juma, I mean, okay, he was a bit younger. And there was those minutes, there was those moments you thought, fantastic, we'll boot it. And then you wouldn't see him. Tavernier, I am told, is pretty much the same. And you cannot be not seen in the Premier League. You've got to be there. You've got to be there for 90 minutes, plus extra time, plus the time you need for VAR. So I'm not quite sure he's the man. But it's a strong rumour, isn't it? It's a very strong rumour everywhere. Yeah.
And I just don't have a feeling that, he's going to bring much to the team. I think I completely agree with you that if a player goes disappearing in the Premier League, we get found out very quickly, especially a newly promoted side as well. So I'm hoping that we're not going to pay the 10 million for him. If Scott Parker decides that he's going to pay a little bit less than that, say, for example, 3, 4, 5 million, then that's really up to him. But I think there's a lot better options. And one of those options is a potential returning player. And I'm all for this. I've got to be honest. I'm all for Matt Ritchie returning to the club. He hasn't played much for Newcastle in the last 2 years. But he is a quality player. He's a player that will also bring on Jayden Anthony on that left side. He can play left back as well. He can fit in there. Of course, he played in that position for us times.
Yeah.
I would bite Eddie's hand off for taking Matt Ritchie back. Would you agree?
Yes, I would. What was he? 32 now. Now, a key word in a squad is utility. You need those 1 or 2 utility players who are going to fill in when the chips are down. Oh, Matt, can you go and play over there? Matt, can you go and do this? And Matt Ritchie does that, and he fits the bill. I don't think he would necessarily be a starter for us straight away, but as soon as a hole appears, Matt Ritchie's the man. And what would we have to pay Newcastle? His contract's probably got another year, hasn't it? So Newcastle would obviously want money because they haven't got a lot of money. Newcastle, have they? You know, they own Saudi Arabia, so that 2 or 3 million or whatever we're going to pay will make a big difference. Bring it back, Matt. 2-year contract, ideal for us, I think. Utility.
And let's be honest, he's not going to play for Newcastle. Newcastle are in for all sorts of players. They're in for Sven Botman, has been mentioned. There's plenty of players that Eddie's looking at, and I think that it would make perfect sense for Matt Ritchie to come home, come and play for Bournemouth, probably see out his career here, and make a difference, help those younger players. Because personally, and I don't know if you agree with this, Al, I think Jayden Anthony he's a quality player. He will get there, but I think from where I'm sat, I think he might need some time to actually bed into this league and learn from somebody like Matt.
Yeah, it's a different speed, isn't it? The Premier League. And Jayden Anthony is fast, and he's skinned defenders, and he's nutmeg defenders. That double nutmeg goal was just like out of this world. He's not going to get it that easy next season. But with 10, 12 games, he'll step up. Mark my words, he'll step up, and he could be our surprise package next season. But he does need a few games under his belt in that top division.
Yeah, great. I think with Zamora, is ready to go. Personally, I think Zamora is ready to go, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does come in for him at some point. Hopefully not in January, but I think he will take to the Premier League like a duck to water.
Absolutely. Even when Zamora was still in the under-23s, a friend of mine had said he knew a scout. They used to go and watch him from Leicester. Leicester used to go and watch him. They've been keeping an eye on him. So, let Jordan hopefully do the full season. I mean, there was a little contract issue, wasn't there? And it took a little while to sign. But that's up to him. If he enjoys the Premier League with us, we'll have him for as long as we can. Sign the dotted line again. There's a pen there again. Sign on the dotted line, because he was a revelation last season. He really was. And goals. 3 or 4 goals, wasn't there? So, good lad. Yeah.
In midfield, it is probably our strongest position. We've got the likes of Billin, we've got Lerma, we've got Lewis Cook, Ben Pearson as well. Ben Pearson's in there. But we've also been linked with the likes of Josh Bowler. Joe Rothwell. Looks like it's a done deal. And one thing that I think is quite a good move that we made in the January window is we went for Cantwell instead of Rothwell. Rothwell, of course, saw out his season at Blackburn. Cantwell, I know that we had the option to purchase him. Do you think it was the right decision not to?
I think so. It all started off okay, and I just think he tailed off towards the end. Nice lad, got a delicate touch, but it looks like Norwich are already to offload him on loan again next season, with I believe Preston being the top suitors at the moment. Whether they'll load him out to a same division club, I don't know. Yes, our midfield is decent. It's very, very decent. Jeff's going to pick up his cards. Now, Ben Pearson. Now, when you're in the Premier League, there's a camera on everybody's lap, isn't there? There's camera from every angle. Now, Ben's a little bit of a dark arts, isn't he? Now, if we're like 0-0, 1-1, or leading 1-0 somewhere with 2 or 3 minutes to go, he's the guy to put in. But I wouldn't give him a whole game. I just think he'll get caught. VAR's do those decisions for red cards and things like that. No, Ben. You've got to calm it down, son. You've got to calm it down. Scott's got to say, Ben, right, you're on for the last 2 minutes. Don't go and nobble Haaland. Don't go and do this, that, and the other. Keep hold of the ball, take it into the corner. None of this, that, and the other. Yeah, Ben might be a bit of a liability. I like him as a player. Every club needs dark arts. Everyone needs kung fu master, don't they?
Yeah.
And Ben's our man for that. But the eyes of the world will be on him. So I think he's not a starter.
He's one of those players that's probably a decade or two behind his time. So you had years ago, you had the Duncan Fergusons, you had the Vieiras, you had Vinnie Jones, Dennis Wise, those sort of players.
Yeah, dark arts. Craig, I go back to the 70s and you think of Norman Hunter and that. He's that type of player. Right, let's get it on. Ben, he's the man who can come and hold the midfield for the last 5 or 10 minutes, maybe. But keep him away from anybody who's decent, because who's going to show him up, because Ben does like a bit of that and that. But, okay, right. So Rothwell, yes, excellent player. We've chased him for a little while. I think we unsettled Blackburn in January with the in the transfer window there, because they knew we were after him, and Blackburn decided we're still in with a chance of automatics or the playoffs. We need to keep Rothwell. I don't care if he's going to go out of contract. He can go for nothing at the end of the season if we don't go up, which Blackburn fans aren't particularly happy with, because I think they would take. I think they were taking the 2 million, because the slide for Blackburn kind of started about February, didn't it? Early February, and the slow trip down the table, and they let's face it, they're goddamn awful. When we went there at the end of the season and won 3-0, we tore them a strip, didn't we? We absolutely tore them. Rothwell, definitely. So we've got a pretty solid midfield. If I was going to add one more, and he's in contract dispute at the moment, that's Jeffrey Schlupp at Palace. He's only got 1 year on his contract. They've been wrangling and negotiating, and Palace are keen to sign him. And you know Schlupp's experience, Leicester. That you've got to have the squad. It's all well saying, right, we've got our 4 midfielders, or if we play 4-5-1-5, you've got to have a squad. And Schlupp would fit in with us, I think, because he'll play left, right, midfield, slap bang where you want him. Ideal. Utility.
Yep. Again, it's very much like Matt Ritchie as well. He can play in multiple positions. There's lots of options there. So I think he'd be a great signing to bring in, especially seeing as it looks like he's leaving. Of course, Josh Bowler is a young player at Blackpool. I think that, if we can get him in on the cheap, then that could well be a decent option for somebody, for the training staff to bring through and gradually make that position his own.
Yeah, didn't he score a wonder goal against us at their place? And and another reason I've noticed, Bo, that I don't win much when I bet on football, but he scored a late goal at Bristol City, which got my accumulator in. So, but I watched Quest, the EFL on Quest that night, and it was another wonder goal, highly rated. And there hasn't been a speculation. Well, there's been a speculation with Bournemouth, but there doesn't seem to be a speculation with anyone else. But another player who would, I think, enhance the squad, he'd get 10, 15, 20 games, and he'd always be on the bench. And that player you need to bring on when the chips are down, one down, you're looking for a goal, he can produce that. He's right foot. He's right foot. Plays on the left, right foot, curl. I know. I watched a few goals the other day. Wow. Yeah, great player. I'm just totaling up how much we're spending here, Craig. So we're bringing in a goal. No, we haven't. No, we're bringing in a goalkeeper on a free. We're going to bring in Ben Mee on a free. Rothwell's coming in on a free. Let's spend 7 or 8 million on Phillips. Let's spend 7 or 8 million on Bowler. Yeah, done.
Yep, sounds a good option. And there was one other player as well that you did mention to me a little while back, who's playing for Rennes.
Right.
And Yep, Red. Sorry, I mispronounced it there. But
That's fine.
I tell you what, from what I've seen of him after you mentioning it, he looks a good player. Do tell us a bit more about him.
Right. Martin Terrier. Okay, a box-to-box player. When I mean that, he is a forward, but he'll always come and do his bit in defence, and he's a powerhouse. 21 goals, which put him just behind Mbappe and Dembele, I think, in the French goal scoring chart. Now he plays for Rennes, which is a bit of an unfashionable club, but they have in the last 2 or 3 years qualified for the Europa League. I think, Europa League next season. They've done the Conference League, that ridiculous third competition they now hold in Europe.
Yeah.
And about 18 months ago, I posted on the Vitals website, I thought, there's a player we should be looking at. And he's really come to the fore now. And Rennes are a decent team. And he plays with a midfield guy who feeds him all the time called Benjamin Bourigeaud. I don't think I pronounced that right. Bourigeaud. And, it's difficult. But what would have been 10 million a year ago, I hear Liverpool and Spurs are now sniffing, so it's going to be 30 million. So I don't think we're going to be spending that sort of money this time round. But as a play alongside Dom would just be a dream front two. There would be 30 goals, 35 goals between the pair of them if it could ever happen. It's a dream now. He's now been noticed by the bigger clubs in the Premier League. The thing is, with French football, you've got to go a little bit off the PSG. You've got to go down the league a little bit and have a look. And there are players who are slowly on the way up, 18, 20, 25 years old, like Terrier. And you've got to get them early, because as soon as they start to shine, hey, it's Liverpool, hey, Arsenal, and they're in there like that, like sharks, and they'll just pay what they want. So, they're talking 30 million now. Spurs are very, very keen, as I see this morning. We've missed out on that, and he would have been the sort of, let's describe, a cross between Matt Ritchie, Ian Bishop, for the older fans, with the goal-scoring ability of Callum Wilson. Both feet. Look at Martin Terrier on YouTube, and I watched before doing this. He's 21 goals, 10 of them are worldies. He could curl better than Audrey in the old hairdressers in Coronation Street. he bends them like that. Right foot curlers. Watch it. It's worth 5 minutes of your day.
Yeah, it's a shame because he does look a quality player, and just. Going on to another Terrier that was mentioned was Lewis O'Brien. Now, he looked a good player when we played them. I know that we beat them on both occasions and beat them convincingly, but I think he's been the standout player for Huddersfield last season.
Yeah. We're stistill hanging around that midfield. We've overloaded the midfield, Craig.
We haven't we?
We've suddenly got 10 decent midfielders, and we're going to play 4. So is Mr. O'Brien going to be happy coming to play Wickham in the League Cup, and that'll be his 1 or 2 games a season, and sit on the bench? So we can't overload it too much, mate. I'm happy with what we got. Our midfield is as good as anything in the bottom half of that table next season. Maybe even top 8. Yeah, we compete. We will compete in midfield.
Yep, definitely. And I think that's where a lot of points will be won. Yeah. And I think that is the area that we've got strength, which maybe Fulham, of course, Fulham, have done very, very well, but they had that one outlet of Mitrovic last season. Their midfield was decent. Of course, they did sell the player off to Liverpool as well.
On the cheap, I think Liverpool.
On the cheap, see, Liverpool's got another cheap option there. And Forest have got had a lot of loan players as well last year. They do have Brennan Johnson, but at the same time, personally, I think we've got the strongest midfield out of all of the teams, and I think that is what is going to put us above them at the end of next season. Do you agree?
Yeah, that's our step ahead. Watch the ball with midfield go. make sure that midfield supply our strikers, and yeah, we're okay, Craig. Craig, don't worry. It's only June. Don't stress, mate.
Yeah.
Don't stress.
So, one player that I would absolutely love us to bring in, and again, from Blackburn, he's been very, very impressive last season. Is Brereton Díaz, the Chilean striker. What do you make of all that?
Fantastic player. And when he wasn't playing, that was the demise and the slow slide down the table of Blackburn Rovers. He's Premiership quality, isn't he?
Yeah.
No shadow of a doubt. Is he going to come to Bournemouth? I don't know. I haven't really seen that in the papers. Yeah, there's been one or two mentions I've seen online, but there's been no follow-up to that, and I don't think there's any substance to it. But a player who would certainly... Is he a little bit too similar to Dom? Is he? I don't know. Could they play together? Would that be a front two? I don't know if he's the man for us. I don't think he'd come us. It's good speculation. We would love to have him, I'm sure. What are we talking, 10, 12 wins, surely? Maybe more. Hang on.
Probably.
Yeah, I'll just put that on the bill, Craig. Hang on, we're making it up. I think it's a non-starter. Once again, paper talk. It's that lazy end of May, June paper talk where they're looking for any snippets, and I don't think it's on.
Do you think Jamal Lowe will stay at the club though? Because of course we've got Solanke. I think Solanke is probably going to be our chosen striker. Kiefer Moore offers something different, and that was one of the criticisms that I made mid-season about Scott Parker, was that we didn't really look like we had that plan B. Kiefer Moore come in, and after he come back from his injury, we could see that that's what he was. But Jamal Lowe, is he a plan C or not in the plans at all?
Look, he was plan B in the Championship, wasn't he? He didn't start many games. I don't think he'd be plan B in the Premier League. I don't, but give the guy the chance. Give the guy a chance. He does. He scored us goals, hasn't he? He scored us goals when they really mattered.
Yeah.
Whether that's going to happen in the Premier League, I don't know. Last 20 minutes, get yourself on, Jamal. Go and do what you do. Listen, let's give him the chance and assess it in January. And if he has to be loaned out or offloaded, then that's the time. But give him the chance.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense for me as well. And I, as much as I'd love Brereton Díaz here, I completely do agree. I think he is too similar to Dom. I think that he has had an injury last season. If he has an injury with ourselves in the Premier League, how many games could he play? Might play 12, might play even less than that. Which, if he's demanding such a large fee, then there isn't much point. Would you agree on that front?
Yeah, exactly. And what's he going to want wages? Quite a bit. Yeah. I'm sure there's a surprise out there that's going to come and lead our front line along with Dom. There's something in the pipeline, and we won't probably hear it until we're into the friendlies. There's someone out there. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any players from France as well that you would pick?
Right. I said Martin Terrier a year ago. There's one more, and his name is called, and I've written it down here, Mohamed Bayo, surname Bayo, and he plays for Clermont Foot, which a club in the centre of France that have only just had their first ever season in League One. He's 24. He averages a goal every 2 games, even in the League One. I think he scored 38 goals in 76 games for the club. 6'2", domineering. Now, Dom can strike a ball. Dom's not a great header of a ball, is he?
Yeah.
He scored headed goals, but not that many. This guy goes where it hurts. This guy has got stitches, hurt me across his head. Because he would get involved in anything. A real mixer of a player. Without being dirty, he gets there and mixes in. Unheard of in the... I've looked and no one's really interested in him speculation-wise, although a couple of German clubs have had a little look. Mohamed Bayo. maybe. But I'm not telling Scott what to do. He's probably never even heard of the guy. Scott, have a look. Have a look. Let's go and play a pre-season friendly in France. Come down to Clermont. It's a lovely area of Clermont. It's a lovely area of France. The guys will have a great weekend. Fans come on over. I'll even buy everyone a wine. Come and have a look at this guy. Goal scorer, natural. And he's just 24 and ready to go.
There you are, Scott. Get it done. Get it done.
Yeah. Get it done. Sign, pen.
I'll be there.
And one more we've been linked with was now Robbie Matondo. Have you seen that speculation?
I haven't.
He's played at Schalke this season. They paid 11 million for him, but he's been on loan, I think, this year in Germany. Another Welshman. He's in the Welsh team squad. He will go to the World Cup along with half our team. We're supplying Wales, aren't we, for the World Cup? Wouldn't it be great if we brought another Welshman in and you've got that hardcore squad? He's another winger, though, and we've talked about Jayden Anthony. We've talked about bringing in players that help him along. Yeah. I'm surprised you haven't seen that speculation. Yeah, but Matondo, the Welshman, 21, 22. He's been in and around the Welsh squad since he was about 16 or 17. And for some bizarre reason, he went out to Germany. But then a few English players got out to Germany to get the game time, and which he's done. He hasn't been a big success in Germany, but he wants to come back. That's what I've read.
And I think that would be a good idea. You know, a good option, and a left midfielder as well.
Left midfielder. Well, I'm going back to sticking in Schluck with there. Oh, you mean Matondo? Yeah, Matondo. Yeah. We'll play anywhere on the left. Yeah. We've got to be solid on the left. Matondo is an option. I can't say I've seen too much of him. I've had a quick flick through there. He's desperate to come back. So we'll see. And under the bosom of our Welsh, Bournemouth Taffy group that we have with more lefts and David Brooks is a new signing, as good as. Yeah,
definitely.
Let's not forget that. So bring in another Welsh. Come on, we will supply half the Welsh squad come December in this ridiculous World Cup in December. That'd be emotional. I wouldn't want Wales to beat England, but we'd want Wales to do well, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely, and hopefully they can finish second behind us. That would be.
We're second behind Iran or whatever.
Considering how we've been playing, we can finish second behind anybody. To be honest, they might win the group. You never know.
You never know. Group of death.
Yeah. Actually, on the note of David Brooks, thankfully got the all clear recently.
Smashing. Yeah.
And in fact, it was that same day as that Forest win. So another thing to celebrate on that day.
Yeah.
But do you think we will see him early on in the season, or do you think we might have to wait until after January?
It's a tough thing, isn't it? Cancer's a tough thing. You lose weight, you lose a bit of body mass, you lose muscle, you become lethargic, and he's got to build all that back up. But he's a professional sportsman, and he will build that back up, and David Brooks will be a star next season. Don't expect it straight from August, September. He'll be essential. He'll be fine, and we know what a great player he is. He's got the Premier League experience. He's done it in the Premier League. He's scored some great goals, hasn't he? The Palace, when we tore Watford 4-0. Hello, Watford fans, by the way, because they'll be watching later. Fantastic. And, new signing. Free new signing, as good as.
Yeah, and it's great to see him back. And, fingers crossed. I'm confident and I'm sure he will be straight back in to the same sort of performances that he was at last time we were in the Premier League, and he'll be determined to really show everybody he's back as well and putting in a real shift. He'll muck in pre-season, and it'll build everything back up that he would have lost. He'll be ready to go, and God bless him. God, Dave, you're going to tear him apart this season. Yeah, definitely. Of course, there could be players leaving, and Lloyd Kelly has been mentioned with Newcastle. He's been linked with Newcastle. I can't see that happening, to be honest. How can you?
No. Look, I've got many Newcastle friends, and I hope they're going to watch this. My Newcastle friends, the Tsunami, and when this money has suddenly come, it doesn't matter where it's come from for them. They've had years of misery. They've had years of mediocrity, and they suddenly think that Mbappe's going to sign, and this is going to sign, and who's going to sign. Look, Newcastle have got to get in the top 6 and play in Europe before they start signing super quality players. Yeah. In the meantime, they can splash the cash on Europa League standard sort of players, even though they're not in it yet. Yeah. Lloyd Kelly, he can't be on their radar. Come on. All right, what are they going to pay? 15, 20 million, whatever. But if they want to go and spend 40 million in Italy for some bruiser, they'll do it. But then it's Eddie Howe, and Eddie Howe's a bit shrewd, isn't he? He knows a few players. Eddie, leave us alone. If you love Bournemouth, leave us alone. Don't touch Solanke. Don't touch Kelly. Don't touch any of our players. You concentrate on what's going on up north. Enjoy your stotty bread and your Nuki brown ale, but leave us alone.
Yeah, just chase after Botman and whoever you want. You never know. Exactly. After watching this, you never know. He might watch this show and think, Terrier's one I want to take on now.
Oh, do you know what? I would go loopy if that happened. Eddie would owe me a beer.
Yeah, definitely. I think he owes you more than that, to be honest, if he actually brings in Terrier, and Terrier's a success for him. A nice meal out, plenty of beer, all on Eddie.
Fine. It's one of the Newcastle is one of the away trips next season that you say, I want to go there for the weekend, because Newcastle's fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. And, that was the fixture that I instantly looked to when those fixtures come out, Al. Newcastle away, Newcastle at home. I wanted to start out the season with them as well. But, at least give it a little bit of time, a little bit of build-up before, a reunion with Eddie. How do you reckon he'll approach that game? Because considering he's a hero here, he spent so much of his career here. Do you think it might? And of course, Jason as well as manager.
If Newcastle score a last-minute winner against us at St James's Park with 50,000 people behind him, and it's always raining up there anyway, Eddie is quite entitled to slide on his knees down to the corner flag, giving it that, and no complaints. Get on with it. But look, it's throughout the season you're going to meet old faces, old friends, old foes, and that. Good luck to Eddie. And I've got no beef with Newcastle, and I really hope they do well. And let's face it, he's done quite well so far. And if they get a top 8 finish, they'll be over the moon up there.
I actually have made a little bit of prediction, and I think he'll get them to 3rd because.
Ooh, okay.
I know. I don't think Arsenal are that great.
No.
I think Spurs are going to be around that sort of area. I think they'll be in the top 4, Spurs. But I think Eddie will bring in the right players in the right positions. And he's already improved a number of players there. Joel Linton. I had a Newcastle fan on here a little while back and discussing exactly what Eddie's done and how he got him out of that position, because I thought it was a poison chalice. When he first went there, I thought, oh, crikey, is this really a job that Eddie wants to take on? I thought he would have had to start from the Championship, but what he's done is phenomenal. Considering the first game, he had COVID. It was a 3-3 draw against Brentford, and he had to watch it from his hotel room.
Craig, the most amazing thing about that game was I was in Dubai with the wife, and the first holiday we'd had in ages post COVID, and we was in the hotel late at night, watching that game, and there was 2 Geordies in there with their shirts on. Eddie Howe, bloody hell, no, he took Bournemouth down. Actually, that's the wrong accent, isn't it? Why, man, he took Bournemouth down, did he? He took Bournemouth down. He can't be no good. And I don't be swearing, but they're shite, man. He's shite, man. 2 weeks later, he's the Messiah. And good old Eddie. And long way it happened. If you put money on Newcastle to come 3rd, go on, win that money. Good luck to him.
Yeah, I think he'll be fantastic for him, and I think
Yeah.
he's well capable of doing that. He'll bring in players in the right position. I think he's the future England manager. He might be getting that
Sure.
job sooner rather than later, considering the current situation.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think he will do a fantastic job next season. That's why I'm
Yeah.
predicting that. Let's be fair. Joe Linton was a bit of a laughing stock up there, wasn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're fans. The only thing is, with the money, will they buy players that are bigger than the manager? And then that might become a little bit more difficult. We'll see. Eddie, go on, do it, mate. Do it. Get top six. I'll be delighted. Got so many Newcastle friends who are hungry for success. They've done nothing since Kevin Keegan went off and won. I'd love it if they lose. I'd love it. But Newcastle, yeah, get on with it. And the emotion when he comes to play down here, well, he's going to get the biggest cheer, isn't he? The away team will get a bigger cheer as the home team. So good luck to him.
And personally, I can't see him celebrating. I can't see him celebrating any goals or wins or anything like that. I think he will show this club the ultimate respect.
Ultimate respect, of course he will. Yeah, he will find the good side of everything on Bournemouth, and he always has done. And yeah, good old Ed. Come on, welcome back.
Yeah, and if he ever wants to come back, by all means, we can take him on a tour of Sandbank, show him what's the same, and get him back to the club. I'd love to see him back here one day, but yeah, I think after Newcastle, I think England's going to be calling. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Al. And of course, there is one other thing you want to launch as well today on this show.
Okay, a few of you know that I've been unwell. I've had muscle invasive bladder cancer for 15, 16 months now, and I was in a pretty poor state in sort of Christmas time. But now, thanks to a wonder drug called Padcev, I'm up and about, and the cancer is holding. And I feel I'm ready to take on a challenge to raise money for Cancer UK, and hopefully a few bob also for Ugandan Cherries, for those who follow their antics on Twitter. So there's 2 of us, maybe 3 of us, going to walk from my house to the Vitality Stadium for the Brentford game, which is on the 1st of October. So we will set off 2 or 3 days before the game. It's a big challenge for me because before a mile was beyond me, but I'm in a bit of training now. So we've called it From Brittany to Vitality. Yes, I'm not going to walk across the water, and it's not as long and arduous journey as you think. From my house to San Malo, the ferry port, is 22 miles, and from Poole to Vitality is 7 or 8 miles, as our locals know. So the whole thing's about 30 odd miles. So we'll be publicising that on all the websites and social media in 2 or 3 weeks once everything's sorted, and we're going to raise money for cancer research. It's got to get beaten. 1 in 2 people will get cancer. It used to be 1 in 3, the adverts used to say. But yeah, we're fighting, we're biting, and we're going to, please, once you see it, if you can stick a fiver in, pound in, tenner, whatever, most grateful. Thank you very much.
Everybody, please do check out the link in the description. Please, please, please donate whatever you can to this fantastic charity. So, yeah, it's amazing work you're doing, and all the very, very best to you, Al, and in your recovery. And thank you so much.
Thanks, mate. It's been a pleasure. It's a lovely way to spend a Sunday evening.
Yep. Yeah,
I've got treatment tomorrow, so I can have 1 more glass of wine, and then it'll probably be Betty buys for me. But that's the way of the world. Yeah, good to talk to you, mate, and up the cherries in all departments.
Yeah, fantastic, and thank you so much again, Al, and all the very, very best for all your treatment.
Anytime, buddy. All right.
And thank you, everybody, for joining me on this special show. Please do remember to hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell button below to be alerted to any of the new videos we do here on the channel. Please also do remember to donate whatever you can to Al's charity, which is a fantastic achievement, going from Brittany to the Vitality for that Brentford game. Until the next video, up the cherries, and I'll speak to you then.